We kind of took a step back and we just looked like, what are we doing, what are our competitors doing, and all of them, and including ourselves, honestly, we just sprinkled some AI on top. And then we thought, okay, like, to really kind of make use of it, really make sure we are part of the value chain, that actually people are not just using AI with n8n, but actually people building AI-powered applications, agents with n8n. And that's when we then realized that we actually n8n fits in perfectly. Like, what do this kind of large language models actually need? They need a lot of data from different sources. Like, no matter if it's here from Google Drive, is it from your local files, is it from Salesforce or whatever, it does something with the data, it transforms it, it takes a decision, and then it outputs.
Agent 101 analysis. Here is the first distinction founders should not miss. An AI feature is not the same thing as an AI product. A feature calls a model. A product owns a complete job. It receives context, chooses tools, handles failure, asks for approval when the action is risky, and produces an outcome somebody can measure. Jan Oberhauser is unusually candid that n8n first did what many teams still do. It sprinkled AI on top. The useful shift came when the company stopped treating the model as the product and started treating workflow orchestration as the product. My judgment is simple. If the user still has to carry the work across 5 disconnected steps, your AI is a demo layer, not an operating system.
Great events. Only like this, we can really kind of keep on growing and kind of build a successful company. So from the very beginning, I chose this different license, which is now we call it a fair code license. So we say you could do more or less the same thing as you can do with open source. The only limitation you have is that you cannot commercialize the code. So you can use it commercially, so you can use it in your company at any kind of scale you want, but you cannot build, for example, a hosted version of n8n and charge other people for that. But we thought, again, is a quite fair ask. That's why it's called the fair code license. And I think that's, we did, so from the beginning, we thought about, hey, how can we enable that?
The fair code story is not a side note about licensing. It is the distribution engine. n8n lets a builder run the product for free and self-host it. So adoption begins with the person who has the problem, not with a procurement meeting. The paid product enters later, when a team needs governance, reliability, collaboration, and enterprise support. That is a different funnel from a conventional SaaS trial. Free usage is not treated as leakage. It is the on-ramp. The boundary matters too. Fair code is not a promise that anybody can repackage the software and sell the same hosted service. It is a carefully drawn exchange. Broad freedom for builders, protection for the company that maintains the ecosystem. For founders, the lesson is not make everything free. It is design a free path that increases distribution without deleting the business.
Uses kind of Claude Sonnet 5, but we also have it configured that as they're not, Anthropic is not always that reliable, we also have a fallback model. They can say, hey, if this model is currently not available, fall back to GPT 5.4 via Oberhauser. And then you see here all of the different tools we had defined previously. You can sort of list recent emails, or you can have like, it can get emails for you, it can even create draft and so on. And here we see the whole human in the loop steps. There you can say, hey, you can send an email, but it can only do that if I get approval before. We can see the configuration of each of those nodes by going in there. So we can see here, like here we say, for approval, it kind of shows this message, send this email, please provide it before it goes out. It gives you like an overview of who's going to send it to, the subject and the body. And so before it actually does that, it kind of does always the confirmation. We can see the same thing here as well for kind of sending a reply or for like creating calendar events.
In this case, so I'm seeing there are 2 different workflows, right? Ones that could be fully automated and ones that require human approval before they are executed.
This product demo contains 2 operational ideas that matter more than the model names. First, fallback. If one provider is unavailable, the workflow can route to another model without rebuilding the entire product. That is not an impressive demo trick. It is basic production resilience. Second, approval is visible inside the workflow. The agent may prepare an email, but it cannot send until a person approves the action. Many teams make the opposite mistake. They give an agent broad tool access, then try to repair trust with a warning message. n8n's model is easier to reason about because capability is explicit. Each step has a permitted action, and risky actions can stop. My practical rule is to separate 3 layers: what the agent may read, what it may draft, and what it may execute. Never grant all three because the prototype looked good. Reliability is not one model answering correctly. Reliability is the workflow failing safely when a model, tool, or assumption breaks.
Suggest for our partners as well is not just not having it only centralized. Like, I think like you can definitely get, if you have a centralized team that builds automations or AI assistants or agents in whatever way for other people, like you can reach, like, I think you get to a lot of value, but you don't really empower people. You build for them, and again, it's at some point it becomes unmaintainable because you suddenly, like, this department literally has to kind of maintain hundreds or thousands of automation. It doesn't work. It's also the opposite of why I created n8n. Like, the reason why I created n8n was because I saw that the people that had the problems were dependent on other people like myself who actually helped them to kind of build things, to build automations or build agents. And the idea with n8n was that the people that have the problems can solve it themselves. Because again, this is why we try to make it simpler and simpler and simpler. So like this, again, we have an AI and automation department internally as well. But what they're supposed to be doing is like still help, like the idea is about empowering people inside of the organization. Again, the people that have a problem should be empowered to build it themselves. They're still there for you. Say, hey, I don't know how to do this one thing. Then they help you out there, or they help you kind of try to figure out.
The organizational point is even more important. John argues that the people who live with the problem should be able to build the automation. That does not mean every department should invent its own security policy or create an ungoverned agent zoo. The useful division of labor is this. A central platform team owns identity, connectors, permissions, observability, review standards, and reusable components. Domain teams own the actual workflow because they understand the exceptions, handoffs, and failure costs. This is where many enterprise AI programs stall. A central team tries to collect every requirement and becomes a bottleneck. Or every team buys tools independently and creates chaos. The better architecture is a paved road, not a centralized factory. Give teams safe primitives and let the owner of the problem assemble the last mile. For a founder selling into enterprises, that changes the product roadmap. Governance cannot be a later admin page. It is part of the builder experience.
Also how I try to measure the own impact of our own AI implementations in the business. Like, okay, are we seeing the NPS of the customer go up? Are we seeing revenue grow up faster? Then great, it seems like what we are doing in the house seems to work, or not. But it's like if you go to a restaurant and order a chicken, if you like the taste of the chicken, who cares where that olive oil is coming from, if it's AI or non-AI?
The last point is the metric. John does not ask whether a team used more AI. He asks whether customer NPS improved or revenue grew faster. That sounds obvious, but most AI roadmaps still measure activity, prompts, seats, agents created, or hours theoretically saved. Those numbers can show adoption, not value. The business metric must sit outside the model. Did the support experience improve? Did the sales cycle shorten? Did error rates fall? Did revenue or retention move? The boundary is that one founder interview cannot prove every company should copy n8n's license or architecture. But it gives a strong operating test. Do not ask whether your product has AI. Ask whether the workflow owns a real job, fails safely, reaches the people with the problem, and moves a business result. That is the product rule worth keeping. Follow for the next founder interview breakdown. See you in the next one.